Microsoft held its annual Xbox Developer Direct today. It was a pretty good show overall. Let's talk about it. Hello there everybody and welcome to The Comfy Spot. My name is Tyler and today we are going to be talking about Microsoft's January 2026 Xbox Developer Direct. It was a pretty good show overall. We got 4 games here. We got to look at Forza Horizon 6 coming from Playground Games, Fable also coming from Playground Games, Beast of Reincarnation, the new game from Game Freak, the developers behind the Pokemon games, and then also the announcement of a new game from Double Fine called Kiln. A lot of cool stuff here. I'm going to go over my general thoughts for each one of these, going in the order they were revealed. I'll say here at the top of the video though, I did think it was a pretty good show overall. There were some elements that I was like, kind of wanting more from. I wasn't blown away entirely by this show like I was last year's, which had Digigaiden 4 and a couple other things. Honestly, I don't remember everything that was in that. I think like Avowed was in that, and some other titles. It's been a while. South of Midnight was in that one too. That one blew me away. This one, not as much. Still a solid showing overall. Still really good looking games that we got here, and they are all coming as of right now in 2026. So without further ado, let's start by talking about Forza Horizon 6. We got the official first look at some gameplay for Forza Horizon 6. We got the confirmation, the official confirmation of its May 19th release date for Xbox and PC. It will be coming to PlayStation 5 later this year though. It will not be launching day and date on PlayStation. When exactly later this year it's coming to PlayStation 5 is anyone's guess. Xbox and Playground Games, they did not confirm any hard dates or give any more solid information. If one was to, play guessing games, I probably imagine it'd be maybe like a December release for PlayStation. That way it's coming after GTA 6. It's not battling for GTA 6 time there because everyone wants to avoid GTA 6, and it'll also avoid being sandwiched amongst other games that Xbox is releasing in the latter half of the year. So that's just my guess. But Forza Horizon 6, we know it is set in Japan, and I gotta say, it looks visually fantastic, which is no surprise. The Forza Horizon games have long been visual standouts when it comes, on the Xbox and PC. They've just been lookers. They've been, the audio's been great, so it looking amazing is no surprise here. I want to say, I have Forza Horizon 5. I've had it since it came out, and I enjoyed it. I did enjoy the game. I'm not the biggest fan of Forza Horizon 5. Like, I'm not like head over heels for it, but I do think it is a fun game. That said, while I did like the Mexico setting, it was beautiful, it was gorgeous, I loved it and everything, watching this gameplay here and seeing the environmental variety that we're getting with Forza Horizon 6 in Japan, it really kind of I guess like flipped the switch in my head and made me realize that like one thing that does, like, I guess, although I do enjoy Forza Horizon 5, one thing that I do kind of like not enjoy too much about it is the environmental variety. It's a whole lot of like the environments is very similar. It's very samey for the environments in Forza Horizon 5 where you're driving around. Like, yes, there is like some jungle foresty type areas. Yes, there is like more of like a desert type area, but it doesn't, nothing, and everything kind of sort of blends in together more or less. Whereas here, at least with what we're seeing for Forza Horizon 6, we're getting like we're seeing a proper like city type area. We're getting more rural areas. There were some I guess you could call them like forested areas. There just seemed to be more environmental variety, and then also seasonal variety as well is something that they mentioned there in the reveal, in the deep dive. We see like some snowy type sections. So overall, like, that right there makes Forza Horizon 6 so much more appealing to me just off the bat. And then when we're talking about the story, or I guess I could call it the campaign rather, your main single player progression that you're going to be going through, again, Forza Horizon 5 was cool, but I definitely feel like it was more of an experience where it's like, hey, you're just kind of like having a ball, having fun, just getting caught up in whatever driving racing you're doing. It was less of an actual progression when it came to the single player story, the single player campaign. That was more of just like a backseat window dressing thing for you to do that kind of served as the umbrella under which all the racing that you did, all the driving that you did was under in Forza Horizon 5. And while that is the case with just about any and every open world racing game that has a story in it, Forza Horizon 6, I like what they're doing here, where it's like you're not starting off as like, yeah, you're this awesome, super cool festival racer who everyone loves right off the bat. Here's our superstar. Like, you're not like that. You're starting off as a rookie. You have to like work your way into being able to be into the festival, and then you get your wristbands, and then you have to work your way up to getting better wristbands to unlock better challenges and newer challenges and harder challenges, as opposed to just, yeah, you're this super cool guy and you could do it all right off the bat, and yeah, like you get more races as you progress, but guess what, everything is more or less the same. So like, I enjoy that. I liked what they were showing there with that. There was a whole lot of other stuff they showed too with Forza Horizon 6. Like they showed some of the Forza Horizon Labs stuff, which I know was, if I'm correct, it was in Forza Horizon 5, but I never really dabbled in it. Nevertheless, it still looks really cool. We know there's going to be, I think they said 550 cars at launch, which is very exciting. That's very cool as well. And they also tease at the end of this, seemingly Gundam is going to be involved. I don't know. At the very end of the reveal, they teased as like basically a giant mech robot thing walking up behind the cover car, which is, I forgot the name. I think it's a GTR. That's the cover car from Forza Horizon 6. They teased the giant mech thing walking up behind it. You just saw its feet, and it was giving me Gundam vibes. So are we getting Gundam official collab like in here? That'd be dope. That'd be cool. Who knows? But nevertheless, Forza Horizon 6, I was very impressed with it. Just watching it made me think that, man, I might actually play this more than I played Forza Horizon 5. Who knows? I mean, the only reason that I wouldn't most likely would be because of time and other games and stuff and possible life changes happening at that time or near that time, but still, Forza Horizon 6 looks awesome. May 19th for Xbox and PC. Very excited for it. Again, PlayStation 5 users, you'll be able to play it later on this year if you do not have an Xbox. So Forza looking awesome, looking fantastic. Game number 2 from the Xbox Developer Direct was Beast of Reincarnation. Again, this is the game that is coming from Game Freak, the developers behind the Pokemon franchise. And when we first got this game announced, I believe it was last year, I was surprised by it. Everyone was surprised. Like, whoa, Game Freak? We know that sometimes they make other games that aren't Pokemon, but this is like very much outside their wheelhouse. Like a third-person action game that kind of sort of gives Souls-like vibes and stuff. It seems really interesting. It seems like very much like, whoa, not what they would expect. But I'm into it. I'm very much into it. Watching this developer direct this deep dive into the game, giving a bit more of a idea as to what the story, the world, the gameplay is gonna look like, makes it seem very promising to me. We have our main character Emma and her wolf or dog companion Ku. The game is set thousands of years in the future, like in the year 4026, I think, in Japan. So super post-apocalyptic. And there are these creatures in the world called malefacts, I believe is what they're called. There are these other things that spread this corruption around the world, essentially called a blight. The story, it seems, I'm not gonna lie, watching this, the story kind of gave me like Stellar Blade vibes in terms of like, yeah, okay, it's one of these post-apocalyptic games where, you're kind of figuring out what happened and stuff. It doesn't seem like all that inspired per se, but it seems intriguing enough to, get me, interested in the story and what I'm doing as I'm going through the game. Similar to how Stellar Blade was. I would not say that game's story was anything amazing or noteworthy by any means at all. But what is interesting and pretty noteworthy and notable, at least, about Beast of Reincarnation, aside from the story, is the setting, even if it is a bit derivative, and the combat, the gameplay. I really do enjoy how, although this is like this post-apocalyptic game, it doesn't give off the same dreary, dour, depressing vibes that you kind of sort of get from many games that are like these Souls-like inspired or Sekiro inspired post-apocalyptic ones. Like this is in a more of a all natural type of setting. Like, it's all forested environments from what we're seeing so far. Overgrowth everywhere and stuff. It just seems, there's something about it that it kind of teeters that line between generic and derivative, but also unique and interesting. Maybe it's just like the flavor in which they're doing it. Something about it just is like teetering that edge for me. But I'm into it. And it's also, I guess, the art direction and the concept art that they showed was just like, wow, I was genuinely like amazed by it. I really enjoyed it. But then there's the gameplay, the combat. And of course, again, this is, parries are important in this, that type of third person action game here and stuff. But what's really intriguing here is the whole combat dynamic, the systems that you have between yourself, the main character Emma, and her dog Ku, or Wolf, whatever you want to call Ku, where there's this thing where Emma, she's fighting and stuff, and then as she's blocking attacks, landing attacks, and doing parries, she's building up like energy charges for her dog, for her wolf Ku, who can then, with enough of them, you can basically enter the state where you kind of slow down time, and you choose kind of sort of turn-based style, or I guess if you want to think of it like similar to Final Fantasy VII Remake, how in that series, how when you are choosing your abilities to do, like if you want to do like a magic move or whatever, or a certain command, when you go to choose your command, like time slows down as you're choosing it. Think of it something in that regard, where you could choose the ability for Ku once Ku has like a certain amount of charges or whatever, and then time slows down while you're choosing which move you want to do. Ku will then do that move, you do a quick QTE sequence, and then like whatever that move is will have an effect that Emma can bounce off of. So for example, Ku might do a move that like binds enemies or stuns enemies or sends them into the air. Emma could then play off of that, and can then whatever moves you do afterwards will be the residual effect of the resulting effect of Ku's last attack. That seems really cool, and it seems like something that will spice up the combat and make it so that it is not just, oh, it's another one of these third person, again, Sekiro Souls inspired type combat system games. It was like, no, it's not. Like, yes, on the surface, but if you look a bit deeper than that, there's more to it, there's more depth to it, there's something more unique to it. So I'm very intrigued by that. It had me, that just seeing that alone got me like, oh, this is gonna be something to keep my eye on for sure. So everything we saw with Beast of Reincarnation, very exciting. I am all in. I don't want to say I'm all in on the game, but I'm more hyped on it than I was when we first saw it last year, whenever it was announced at some point in 2025. We do know that it is coming out at some point this summer. No hard release date, but just this summer. It is coming to Xbox, PC, and PlayStation all at the same time. So that is very exciting, very, very exciting stuff right there from Game Freak and Beast of Reincarnation. Game number 3 from the developer direct is going to be the game Kiln. This is coming from Double Fine, again, the developers behind the Psychonauts series. They made Broken Age. The last year they came out with the game Keeper. That was the lighthouse, the game where you were playing as the lighthouse, that like adventure game, which I still want to play. Have not got around to playing and haven't touched my Xbox in a couple months, quite honestly, or longer than a couple months, to be quite fair. Either way, this is coming from them, and as you know, Double Fine is a very creative team. They're all about just fresh, new, weird, kooky, quirky ideas and concepts. And this new game Kiln is one that spurred, like, it came from that. It was spawned from one of their, as Tim Schafer said, the founder and studio head over at Double Fine, their Amnesia Fortnite event things, what they do, where they say, hey, 2 weeks, we're just gonna, everyone just kind of do a game jam, more or less, and just come up with different weird, kooky ideas for games. We'll put whatever we're actually working on hold and just make what you want to make, see what comes out of it. And sometimes, as he said, an actual real game will come out of it, and Kiln is one of the results of that. And Kiln, it's a game where how they describe it is a multiplayer party brawler. Now, let me rephrase that. A multiplayer pottery party brawler, where, again, it's a teams of 4v4, and you basically make your own pottery creation, be that a pot, a vase, a cup, whatever, a mug, whatever you want it to be. You make your own pottery creation, a spirit controls it, and then you go into a match and you're playing with other people. You have to eliminate the other team, and one of the modes that they showed, I forgot the name of the mode, but the objective is to basically douse the flames that the other team has at their basically their home base. So you kind of do it Splatoon style. You're going around collecting water, you get to the other side, and you're trying to like douse their flames out while also protecting your own base and eliminating enemies along the way. And it's cute. I really like it. I don't know if it's a game that I necessarily myself will play, but I like the idea behind it and the creative spirit, the ingenuity behind it. Because like there's a whole lot that they clearly put into the whole pottery making system, and they said they tried to make it as simple and easy to pick up for anyone who's not a pottery expert, but also someone who's, if like you are into pottery, where you can get a bit more in depth with it and a bit more intricate with it and try and like really make things fine-tuned and finessed and stuff, and really customize things how you want with stickers and so on and so forth. Make different size pottery creations, be it that like small ones, medium ones, really large ones. And like the maps themselves are also designed around these, so there will be spots on maps where only small things can go through. It has to be like a certain type of small pottery creation can go through it. Things where only like medium ones can go through. So like it's really cool how they're getting creative with it, and how the different things you make will determine the type of brawler that your pottery creation is. So you might have like something that's smaller, that's like fast and like not as strong, but it's like pretty it could be rack up pretty good DPS, I guess, is for in layman's terms, in simple terms. Or you can make something that is like a bit more big and burly, and that ends up being like a slower heavy hitter and could carry more water and all. It seems really cool. I really, again, like I said, I like how the team at Double Fine just comes up with these weird creative ideas, these kooky ideas. It seems cool. Like I don't know if it'll be a game I play personally, partly because of time, but also mainly because I don't know if it's necessarily the game that it's like one that's up my alley in terms of a game that really interests me to play it. I do like it though. I like the idea. I like that it exists. It's important that games like this exist, because we can't just constantly have, big AAA games. We can't just always have, even if they're not big AAA games that just kind of like fall into the mold of the norms of, here's a third-person action game. Here's this first-person shooter. Here's this, just your standard 3D platformer or whatever the case may be. We need other interesting, new, weird ideas to, push the boundaries of what you can expect in games, open games up to new people, and also just, again, create just creative ideas. Because this one game right here, it could spawn other games that are like it, or it could inspire someone else. Like someone could see an element of it and be like, I like this. I want to incorporate something like this into an idea that I have for a game. So you never know. I like the idea behind it. It's cool. It's coming out this spring, actually, so very soon. Again, no hard dates, but this spring is what we know. I would imagine before Forza, so maybe an April release on this, possibly, maybe it is the same month as Forza. Who knows? Either way, it's coming out in the spring. Kill from Double Fine seems like a pretty cool game. The last game we had from the developer direct was none other than Fable, again, coming from Playground Games. And this was, in my opinion, the most important game that was going to be here at the showing, because this is the first time that we are getting, an actual deep dive into Fable. This game was first announced 2020, I think. If not, it was 2021 with that CG trailer. And then after that, we just got, years of silence mixed with years of just more cinematic in-engine trailers that maybe had like the faintest glimpse of gameplay, but really no gameplay at all. They were like very light on like giving us details of like what the actual game would be like. They were more so focused on conveying that the classic Fable humor and the British tone and British humor and stuff was going to be here in the game. And that's all well and good, but that does nothing if the actual game itself does not look good itself. And from what we saw here, I think that Fable does look promising. We saw plenty of gameplay here. We saw some good shots of combat, and we got a lot of talk about the many different systems that are at play in Fable. When it comes to the morality system, it's not like it was in the original games where it was like a hard black and white, good or bad, where now the morality, it's something where that is a bit more nuanced, much more like the real world, where what you do to one person what you do in one person's eyes might be good, but in another person's eyes it might be bad. So someone might think, oh yeah, you're a good person because you like bought all these toys for these people, but then another person might look at you and be like, you're a rich douche, like why you gotta be so like pompous and everything and just like flaunt your money. So like it's cool. I like that, and I understand that some people, like some of the Fable purists who are fans of the original trilogy, might feel disappointed that morality is not going to be here, where your appearance is not going to be changing as you become more good or more bad, because the morality is not like it was back then. I think that this is a good evolution of the system. I think it's a smart evolution of the system to keep things from just being like they were before. Kind of brings things up to date, brings the system up to date. So I like that. I do like that. And they also talked about how you could marry like a bunch of people, have a bunch of kids, buy homes, buy businesses, hire workers for the businesses, so on and so forth. You could buy property, have people live in the property, kick them out the property. They could hate you because you kicked them out the property. So many cool things. On top of the fact that they said that there are going to be 1,000 NPCs in this game, which is absolutely wild. And all of them will each have their own personalities. They're all handcrafted NPCs. So that is absolutely wild to think they'll have their own personalities, their own traits, their own opinions, and thoughts on the world and things, and so on and so forth, which is crazy. I'm super into that idea though, just seeing how systems driven this world is and the story is and how it'll affect the story. Maybe not the main story, but just really like your story as the hero and your world. And something that they talked about in the direct was how choices that you make in the story will affect the rest of the world as a whole. So one thing they talked about was in one of those first CG trailers, one of those first early engine trailers we had for Fable showed like a giant, like this guy who was a giant and all. And the director talk about how, yeah, you come across him and you have to either help him or kill him. And if you kill him, his body is just lingering in the world for the rest of the game. And that has, an effect on the world, and it has effect on the prices of housing in the area. And his sister is going to have thoughts about you and stuff if you kill him. And that's cool. I'm into that. And again, sticking a bit more on that whole morality thing. I don't remember if they talked about it specifically in the direct, but in the interview that Ryan McCaffrey of IGN did over with the team at Fable, they did talk more about how the morality system, every town you go to, your morality is basically going to be starting at a flat base level. So in one town, your morality, like people might have one view of you there, but when you go to a brand new town, people are going to have no perspective on you because they don't know you. So you're going to have your own reputation in this town and in that city and in this place and in that place, which is cool. And again, it goes back to why they felt like they didn't want to do the old morality system and why it wouldn't fit with the whole having your appearance change with this new system, because it's like, if you're going to have a new base level of morality reputation in each place, you can't have your appearance just look all like devilish, because you're going to have people are going to have a perception of you off rip if you come in there looking like Satan essentially. So all that is cool. I'm very into all that. But then there is the combat. We saw some combat gameplay here. We saw magic being used. We saw using a sledgehammer to basically swing and send a goblin or a little troll of some sort flying in the air. Combat looks fun. It does look fun. It looks cool. I will say though, I kind of wish we got more. And I think that was the feeling I was left with after watching the Fable section of this developer direct. And sidebar, the game looks gorgeous. I also forgot to mention that, but yes, obviously this coming from Playground, who makes the Forza Horizon games, Fable looks stunning. But what I was left feeling after watching this Fable section, man, this all looks good, but I still feel like we're not I'm not getting a good idea or a good feeling of what the actual game is like to play. And I don't know, maybe that's because we didn't necessarily get like an extended segment of just gameplay, and that's not what these developer directs do. They definitely, they're all about giving us the conversations, talking with the devs, giving us snippets of gameplay in between it all, which is fine. But I guess for me, when it comes to Fable, I've been waiting for that extended look at gameplay that gives me an idea of, oh yeah, this is what playing the game will be like. And while we definitely got plenty of shots of gameplay and combat and kind of going around the world and stuff, after watching this, I feel like I had more confidence and more of a good feeling about the systems in Fable, of the world and the story and stuff, as opposed to the gameplay systems. Like, I would love to just see just like an unedited good 15 minutes of just, hey, here's a story mission we're gonna go do. Here, we're gonna talk to this person, walk through this town, go off to this quest, fight these guys, do this thing, and that is that. Like, I guess that's what I'm waiting for from Fable. And again, didn't necessarily think we'd get that here. I guess maybe I just thought that I would walk out of Fable feeling stronger about the game as a whole, as opposed to just segments of the game. Like, I'm like 75% of the way there with my excitement and hype for Fable, but that last 25% is what I'm really waiting for. And I'm sure this is just a me thing. Again, maybe, as someone who has not played the original Fable trilogy but always wanted to, maybe that's part of it for me. Maybe for Fable fans who have played the original trilogy, maybe you walked away from this feeling like, yes, I'm all in on this. Like, they're showing me everything I would love to see from the gameplay, from the systems, so on and so forth. Maybe it hit you all better than it hit me. But right now, I'm just waiting for that little bit more from Fable. Maybe I have to rewatch that section of the direct to have a better feeling on things. Again, I did like what we saw. I was impressed with what we saw. I do feel better about Fable now after having, gone years without really any significant look at this game. I just need a little bit more to get me there all the way across the finish line and be like, now I am all in with my excitement for Fable. One thing to note though, Fable is coming out this year. They did confirm that. They confirmed it is coming out autumn, this fall, 2026. Of course, barring any delays, would I be surprised if it gets pushed to early 2027. But important to note, it is releasing on Xbox, on PC, and on PlayStation at the same time whenever it releases this fall. And it's interesting that that's happening for Fable, but not Forza Horizon, which is coming also from Playground. Now, in that IGN interview as well, which I'll leave a link to down below in the description box, the person Ryan McCaffrey was talking to, who I apologize, I forgot the person's name. The person he was talking to, Ryan, did ask this question, like, hey, why is this the case? And he basically said that two different teams doing what they feel is best for their games and all, which is fine, understandable. I myself wonder if there is a bit of Forza like we still want that to be exclusive for a bit before it goes to another platform, which I would understand. It's one of them key pillars of the the Xbox 360's their trinity of, so to speak. So I get it, but it is interesting. Fable's coming, PlayStation 5 day and date. I don't think it's a bad thing at all. Trust me, I do not. It's definitely the type of game where, for what this Fable game is doing, rebooting the series, essentially reintroducing it to the world. We have not had a proper Fable game in over a decade. So for the purposes of reintroducing Fable to the world, introducing it to brand new fans, getting brand new players, I should say, making new fans out of it, getting old fans back in, maybe people who left Xbox during the Xbox One generation and are now on PlayStation. It makes sense to do this. It makes sense to get it on as many platforms as possible, especially when you can imagine that Fable is an expensive game to have been made. So, not saying that Forza Horizon is not, but it is what it is. So it'll be it's just an interesting development there. Nevertheless, I will be very excited to play it, and I think whenever it does come out, I will play it on my Xbox. I don't think I'll play it on my PS5 just because I would want to play it on its quote-unquote home console, on its home platform. So that's where I fall on Fable, and overall, that's where I fall on this Xbox Developer Direct. I thought it was a pretty good show overall. Like I said at the top of this video, it did not blow me away like last year's. I do not think this was the best Xbox Developer Direct ever, but it was a very enjoyable one nonetheless. Every game here looked really cool. They all looked interesting. They all looked fairly unique. I mean, maybe not Forza Horizon 6, but I mean, that's, it's a racing game. But neither here nor there, they all looked good. There's something here that's like, I feel like there's something here that is appealing about each and every one of these single games for someone out there. You have Forza for the racing fans, you have Beast of Reincarnation for the action Souls-like, Sekiro-like type fans out there. You have a Kiln for the more casual party game fans, but who also maybe even for like the more creative gamers out there who want to explore their artistic side. And then you have a Fable, of course, for that AAA gamer, that RPG fan out there. So I'm into all of these games. I'm excited for all of them. And again, these are all set for release in 2026. They are all going to be Game Pass games on day one, and Xbox Play Anywhere games as well. So right now, between all of these, Gears of War E-Day, which is supposed to release this year, Halo Campaign Evolve, which is also releasing this year, Xbox is already set and poised to have themselves a pretty strong 2026, if I should say so myself. So, I mean, even if Beast of Reincarnation is not an Xbox exclusive, we'll put it under that umbrella for right now. So, I'm excited about Xbox for the rest of this year. I do wonder what else they're going to be announcing and releasing and showing off this year. It should be a good year for Xbox and just a good year for games as a whole, and this was a great way to kick it off, especially in the 25th anniversary of Xbox. So, with all that said, this has been a long video, but I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know your thoughts on this Xbox Developer right down in the comment section below. Let me know your thoughts on each of the games that were shown here. Which was your favorite? Which was your least favorite? And do you have any hot takes, controversial opinions? Do you share any of the same thoughts that I do about any of these games? Let's talk about it down in the comment section below. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and hit that notification bell. That way you know as soon as new videos go live. My name is Tyler. This has been The Comfy Spot. We'll talk next time. Have a good one.